Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hi, Gail.
Hey Terry, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What are we
Good.
talking about today?
Well, today we are talking about, we're just talking backstage, a combination of feeling worthy and guilty.
Yeah,
And this is a good one for empaths, I feel like.
right.
So
It's involving self care.
totally self care. Like when you're taking care of yourself, if you're getting a manicure, if you're getting a massage, if you're working out with a trainer. I mean, if you're going for a walk or taking a nap.
Oh, taking
So,
a nap's a big one.
yeah, yeah. Like, are you worthy?
Of course, because as I was telling Terry backstage, there was somebody who was talking about how they didn't take naps, would never take naps. They feel guilty taking naps. And I went, label it as meditation. And it was like a light bulb went off on their head, like, oh, meditation. Okay. Because that means we're being productive. From nap to meditation, just that one word
Right?
makes a difference. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
how many of us fall asleep during meditation all the
Oh,
time?
because we need it.
Yeah.
I was always taught if you fall asleep in meditation, it's good. Your body needed it. Hey, Nancy Jean. Hey, Penn. How are you? So people are coming in. We kind of surprised y'all today. So anyway, we were planning on doing this, but we were like, oh, we'll just go live.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So do you want to talk
Okay.
about what you came up with or?
Yeah. What I'm going to do, I asked ChatGPT about it, and I'm just going to go through the list. And it says, and I asked it, why do we feel guilty about self care? And first it says, we were taught that caring for others comes first. Many of us grew up hearing, don't be selfish, think of others first, good people sacrifice. While generosity is important, many people accidentally learn that their own needs don't matter.
Mhm.
So you want to talk about that, or you may go to the next one?
No, I do want to talk about that because I was just writing this down. How many is, yeah, especially women, Penn, and anybody that has a very effeminate nature. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
How many of us were brought up, and I don't want anybody to crush me on this, talking about service to others.
Oh
That
gosh,
that
we still get that.
we still get that, and I feel like the truest service is service to self because if you care about yourself and your light and your spiritual growth, that expands to everybody around you.
It's like putting your oxygen mask on first before you put it on your children,
Right. Yeah.
which is
So,
would be a hard thing to do.
yeah. So I think that needs to be changed. Service to self, service to self enlightenment,
Yeah.
which expands the entire climate around you and all the energy fields around you.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm going to go to again. I mean, things that we do here growing up is don't be selfish, think of others first, good people sacrifice. So we grew up hearing that. All of us grew up hearing that. And if you're an empath, you probably took it a little extra and thinking that was your worth is to be that. So, well, generosity is important. Many people accidentally learn that their own needs don't matter.
Yeah.
So I think that's happens to a lot of us.
It really does, doesn't it? And it's like we weren't supposed to look in the mirror and say, "Hey, hot stuff," which which is what Louisa Hayes. They said she never passed a mirror without saying, "Hey, hot tomato" or "Hey, hot potato."
My ex-husband used to say that too in the mirror. I
Oh,
look so good. You're hot today. And he would ask me, he goes, why aren't you saying anything about it? I'm going, well, I don't need to. You do it all for yourself. What am I supposed to do? I had to do that. But yeah,
right.
he was a salesman too, an excellent salesman.
Yeah.
But yeah, he would look in the mirror and would always self-talk like that.
Do you think that some of us come into this lifetime thinking, "I'm going to learn to be a narcissist because I've given up things like I've been a monk in the Himalayas and
Well,
silence and
I wouldn't
service
say
for
that
years?"
I wouldn't say that he was a narcissist. I would say that that was probably a good sales technique to
Probably.
yourself up before you're going out into the world. Because in general, I wouldn't say that he was like that, but yeah, but it was so funny. I mean, I'm laughing at watching him do this pep talk in front of me, but we might all need to do that. That might be a good exercise for everybody to start doing, is doing some kind words to yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good trauma technique too. Somebody that I've studied with, Rachel Grant, recommends that, and just looking in the mirror and, seeing yourself as a sensuous being. And that doesn't have to have a sexual connotation, or it can if you want to, but that you can look at yourself and think, oh, I get joy out of this. I can feel the energy here.
It would be uncomfortable though to start, but I think it might be a good exercise for people,
Yeah.
for me included, because usually I'm only going to the mirror just for brushing your hair, putting makeup, brushing your teeth type of thing, not to do these affirmations of "go get it, girl" or "you looking good today."
Yeah. Or what looks wrong here? What can I fix?
Exactly. That's like looking at it.
And that expands into our circle, doesn't it? When we see our family, like, what can I fix? We see our friends. Well, what can I help you with? What can I fix?
And that's how our mothers looked at us too. What can we fix? This needs to be fixed on you. Nobody else
Yeah.
has said anything, but they're going to point it out.
Yeah. How many of them your moms gave you a Kleenex that said spit?
Yeah, I hated that. But all right, I'm going to go on to number 2. It says caregivers identify with helping. And talking about, like, as me, this ChatGPT was gearing it towards me as a nurse, chiropractor, healer, and host. You've spent most of your life helping others. When your identity is built around serving, resting can feel unproductive, even though it's necessary. And that's true, especially I think for mothers, that they are in service to their children. So I think, when they're resting, they're feeling unproductive. Like, oh, I need to pull out this load of clothes, or I need to cook, or I need to cut up something healthy for them to eat. We can't do drive-through tonight. That I think there's a lot of guilt with that too, also. So what do you think, Terry?
Yeah, I think so totally. That I remember when my kids are only like 2.5 years apart, and they say that's one of the hardest numbers, that 2.5,
Oh, really?
or under and under. And you've got 2 in diapers at the same time, and you're going through all this stuff. But I used to go out in the garage, even if it was like below zero. I'd put a winter coat on and smoke my one cigarette, and sometimes have a glass of wine out there, because I was like, oh my God. And but it was a lot. And I thought, so that kind of can feed on itself, those bad habits that we can pick up from doing that. Yeah, I do feel like we need to really rejoice in being alone sometimes, and being quiet sometimes. And when society teaches you that you can't do that,
Yeah, but label it as meditation if you have difficulty with it. So you're
Yeah.
productive.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have to do that, but it does totally changes the way you look at it. I need a nap. Oh, I can't take a nap. But meditation, that's doing something. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah. So anybody who wants to take a nap and feeling guilty of it, label it as meditation. And I'm seeing Linda Keltzer saying the same thing you said, Louise Hay mirror work.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing woman. I mean, talk about a dynamo. She had this publishing company. She wasn't making much money. Deepak was publishing all these huge books, and his publisher didn't want these little tiny books, like the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, the 7 Spiritual Laws of Parenting, 7 Spiritual Laws of Manifesting. So she goes, I'll do it. And so she made a fortune off him, and so did he.
Yeah.
I mean, it was his best sellers, I think. So yeah.
All right, going to number 3. Productivity has become a measure of worth. Many people feel valuable only when they're accomplishing something. Sitting quietly, getting a massage, taking a walk, or reading a book can trigger guilt because it doesn't look productive. We've kind of been touching on that all along. So productivity is what we do look up as self-worth. And I'm not sure, growing up, in my time, it was okay for the mother to work 24/7 and the father to work 8 hours and come home and sit. So, that has changed a lot, but that's kind of an example of that. Well, it's okay for them to do that, but women are having to cook, clean, take care of the kids, and they're going 24/7.
Yeah, and it's really, I think, calls into mind manifesting abundance, because we're living in lack when we keep running and running and running and
Well, I think
doing
that's
10 things at
too.
once.
I think they're continually running and running, running now too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, or doing, games or whatever, lots of gaming, but which it's fun to do and it's good for your brain to win.
Yeah.
So there's a balance with all of it here. Yeah, but definitely taking care of yourself. And I find that, sometimes like there's a lot of scarcity, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of our parents had a lot of scarcity.
Right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
because
and
their parents were in the war and those kind of things, or
yeah,
generation anyway. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. The next one is fear of disappointing others. When we start setting boundaries and taking time for ourselves, some people may not like it. The guilt often comes from worrying how others will react. And isn't that true? I mean, how many times is it that you might be sitting down and your boss walks in and you're feeling guilty, but you got your work all done, so you're having to look like you're doing busy.
Yeah.
So, uh, so that goes with every aspect, your home life and your work life. That looking busy means you're more worthy, or I'm not real sure, your self worth, or you're disappointing others. I'm not sure where that falls in. What do you think, Terry?
Well, being productive doesn't mean something physical or tangible, I think. Sometimes it's more productive to go within.
But what it is, because the rest to go within, and you're more productive in a shorter term.
Yeah.
But that busy work and looking like you're busy, it's more, that's more approving.
Yeah. It's a 3D thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Totally a 3D thing that we look at that because, we react to things in the 3D, or we've been taught to. And now most of you are 4D, 5D already, and you're looking at things and thinking, oh, let me think about that. I'm not going to say, yes, I'll do that for you. I'm going to give you a ride here and a ride there and, and money or whatever. Let me think about that. Let me feel into it. Doing nothing is something, Hypnicity says. I love that. Love that.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Virginia writes positive affirmations on a mirror. So we look at them every day.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I would probably get involved in the affirmations and never look at myself again. It's true too.
Bemuse Shaman says, men may work sun to sun, but woman's work is never done. Just a saying she learned in her late teens. Yeah, inequality was accepted in a woman's lot in life. And a man had to get out of the house and go work. He couldn't stay home with his family. So it was, I mean, how many males out there would have loved to have been and would be an amazing home person, a home person, I guess, family person, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. Number 5. We confuse self-care with selfishness. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is maintenance. No one thinks it's selfish to put gas in a car. Oh gosh, I just lost it. Okay. No one thinks it's selfish to put gas in a car, charge a phone, or water a plant. Yet people often feel guilty for feeding their own mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah. So let's break that down a little bit or lean into it. I feel like we're kind of being asked, and this is what I'm getting this week in particular, is to lean into loving your dirty dishes, loving your garden that's gone nuts in the backyard, and you really need to get out and weed eat it. You know, really loving everything about your house that needs to be painted, or if you need to, touch up the drywall or the trim work, looking at it and loving it and giving it compassion and giving yourself compassion.
I'm laughing because my guys just put this funny vision in my head. They're going, kiss with red lipsticks those flaws and love it.
Oh,
So, like if you have a hole in, you put these big red lips and just kiss it. And anyway, that's a funny picture that was put in my head.
I love that, because these big red lips you guys have been talking about for a couple of weeks, about 3 weeks, it's Kali. It's the Rolling Stones, the big red lips with the tongue. That's Kali. And it is Kali. We're releasing all these old things. And so there's the big red lips coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kiss it.
Yeah. Kiss those flaws. So that would be kind of interesting. Somebody coming into your house and you have a hole and there's big red lips around. I thought you were weird before.
But now, yeah, you've gone and done it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a different way to look at it. Instead of asking, do I deserve self-care? Ask, how well can I serve if I'm exhausted? A depleted person has less patience, less creativity, less joy, and less energy to give.
Well, and here's the other piece of that too, is that if we want to connect with our soul beings, if we want to connect with our higher selves, it's hard to make that connection when we're go and judging ourselves. I feel like you're somebody that knows your worth, Gail. Like you've written books, but even before that, you knew your worth. You've been a doctor, a chiropractic doctor, a nurse that worked in the brain surgery.
Doing also for recognition for working.
But then you took care of your dad, and now you're really living your joy. Like you've traveled around and moved and really, like, I was in shock when your guide said you have to move to Mount Shasta, and you said you packed up all your animals. I didn't even know you then, but I was watching you and on your YouTube channel, and you moved to Mount Shasta to work with the light beings, the star beings.
The Lemurians actually asked me to go out there.
Yeah. And so you knew.
Well, it took me months to agree to it. I mean, they kept tapping me wanting me to move out there. And I kept going, no. And then it came to one day going, why not?
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like when we tap into our worth, then we really tap into not just abundance, but also our higher selves and knowing who we are. And that's when I think we get the big downloads.
Yeah, and also just the journey out there and also the journey back across the U.S. was very, I would do that again in a minute. There's so much you learn and see and things that you haven't ever seen. Yeah, that was pretty fascinating.
And you had car trouble while you were doing that.
Yeah, I hit a deer and totaled my car. Oh my gosh! And I was traveling with a cat and a dog, and anyway, they were looking after me because nothing in my car moved. It was so still, so I knew the angels were with me traveling, and because nothing moved, everything. I mean, my car was totaled, the deer was dead, but it was away where I wasn't seeing the deer, which was good too, because that would have been a torture sight. So I never saw the deer on the road.
Oh.
So I traveled just as far I could stop. And then, I had all these people help me. I mean, they just opened their arms. I was in the middle of nowhere, and somebody from, I was hit the deer in Missouri, ended up going to Iowa to get a taxi to take me to Kansas to get a rental car. And so everybody came out. I mean, they were walking my dogs and they were taking care of my cat, and they were on the phones helping me trying to find a rental car. There couldn't have been more gracious of people that had helped me. So, so anyway, I've stayed connected to the woman that was in Iowa. It was the name of the town was Australia, Iowa. It was a cute little town, and she did a lot of pet habitat for pets. What do you call it? Worked with the pets anyway. Spayed and neuter. She was in charge of that in that town, and she was the one that owned the taxi company. But anyway, she said if I couldn't find a taxi, that she was going to put me up. So I was going to be in the street there with my cat and my dog, and she was going to put me up until I found one. So yeah, I learned a lot, met a lot of good people, and yeah, I would do it again. I would definitely do it again.
That's when you know.
I know how to do it now.
Yeah, that's when you know that you're traveling in your life and you're traveling in your, yeah.
And to have great conversations because you're trapped in the car. So I was talking to people all day long, to different people.
Yeah, I used to love that when my kids were teens. They wouldn't really talk to me, but man, they needed a ride somewhere all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you, God. And they have to talk to me. Hey, Annie Bear. Hey, Liz. Yeah. So we're just talking about why we feel guilty and what that looks like. And, sometimes like we've kind of talked about this a little bit. I'm really working hard on my weight right now and trying not just my weight, but trying to be healthy.
That's how this conversation even started.
Yeah.
How to feeling guilty, even admitting to it or talking about it.
Yeah.
Like I had just finished getting a pedicure, and I was telling you, I said, I just finished getting a pedicure and they wanted to know if I wanted a manicure. And I said, no, because I lied. And I said, I don't have time. Well, I did have time.
Yeah.
but I felt guilty. I felt guilty about being pampered, just getting the pedicure, much less a manicure. So, and then we went into yours, and that's how this whole conversation started.
Yeah. And it was funny because I think I got a pedicure the same week, and I'm looking around at all the women, and I know that they come there probably weekly or bi-monthly or something. And I'm like, wow. So this is their regular self-care thing. This looks good because they were happy.
Yeah.
They were groomed. I don't know how much other parts of their life, but so I'm doing yoga in the mornings now. I'm doing that. I'm doing a sauna once a week. And then I'm doing not somatic work, facial work, getting a facial or a fascia massage every other week.
Oh, wow.
On top of that. So I'm really working hard. I'm also on the juice. I'm doing the GLP.
And that's how it really started, was the fact that guilty talking about it or guilty being on it, guilty about that help, because we are used to such punishing ourselves almost, especially if you have difficulty losing weight. You're punishing yourself all the time by being hungry or whatever. And now all of a sudden we have these new discoveries and these new help, and yet everybody feels guilty about reaching out for that. And so I think we need to stop judging that, or something about that needs to change.
Yeah. And it's, it felt right for me. My doctor's office has an LPN, licensed practical nurse.
Yeah.
And it's all she does. She helps people with this. And so I'm under a doctor's care for it. And I crushed my ankle maybe 15 years ago, and gained a lot of weight with that because I wasn't able to walk for quite a while. And since then, of course, I was at the age where forget about trying to get stuff off. So I tried a lot of things, and then I felt really guilty about doing that and spending the money on it. But I feel so much better now. Like I've lost some weight, and it's been helpful.
Yes.
So
Now you're hearing it is okay to do that.
yes, yes. I'm patting myself, not patting myself on the back, but sometimes I'm scared to tell people. Now I just call it the juice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Because I didn't know what she was talking about when she said the juice. I'm going, what? What's the juice? But anyway, I'm going to go into the signs you may need more self care.
yeah,
Okay. Feeling resentful towards people you love, constant fatigue, difficulty concentrating, feeling overwhelmed by small tasks, loss of joy, increased irritability, feeling like you're running on empty. Mine is definitely feeling overwhelmed by small tasks. Whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed by small tasks, I know it's time. When I don't even want to pick up the sock off the floor, you need to take a break. It's time to take a break. Something mundane like that. Sometimes just looking at something like that's more difficult. And a lot of times when I'm working with a client and they're having a tough time of life, I'll tell them just make a list of 100 different things that are irritating you, and the smallest things, even if it's like a piece of paper that's over there, been sitting there, or a twisted up candy wrapper that's been sitting over there, just list 100 things, list them all down. And then when you finish, you start taking care of you. See how small some of them are. Some of it's like return this item that's been hanging on your wall or whatever. But all those little things are just kind of irritating and eating at you. So a lot of times that does help. I haven't done that a long time myself. I probably need to sit down and do that, but to write down 100 things that are little things that are around you that are irritating. And if it has been going on for a while, then you're needing to back off and rest.
yeah, yeah. And loving those little things that, are bothering you. Like
Like
what
the hole in the
bothers
wall with
you?
the lips around it.
Yes, yeah. Like who do you love that bugs
It
you the
wouldn't bother
most?
me anymore if there was a hole in the wall and there was lips around it. I would
Oh
keep
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And and when we look at the people in our lives, and sometimes people that we love, that we grew up with, particularly because we had the family dynamics. Well, what bothers you about them, or little things happen sometimes, and then when you look at that, you think, oh, what about me
Yeah.
is doing that? Because it's usually just that mirror, isn't it?
Hmm.
But loving that part of yourself. Also, a lot of people that are spiritual are also neurodivergent or ADD or ADHD, and that's a common thing for people that are on the spectrum or have ADD, attention deficit in some order, that they will let things build until the brain sends out endorphins to get something done because it's the last minute.
Right.
So it's just the way some people's brains work. And I think once we realize that, we're like, oh, yeah, that's why I didn't want to do that. So I'll just get it done now. Yeah.
All right. I think that's the list that we needed to do today. Any last words, Terry?
Well, let me see. I wrote down a few things. If I can find, oh, my notes. There's my notes.
Oh, that's right. You said you pulled them up.
Yeah. Oh, many people feel guilty about self care because somewhere along the way they learn that their worth comes from what they do for others and what they are. We talked about that. Um, Talking about self indulgence, and we live in a culture that rewards productivity. Um, okay, so if you're a healer, it's hard to share peace when you don't experience it in your heart. And, being a teacher, which a lot of you here are teachers now. I mean, you might not realize it, but when you get in the chat with others, I hear the most amazing chat, or I think I hear it, but I see it. And, pouring from an empty cup is hard.
Right.
So, yeah, love yourselves. And I feel like that's really what we're being called to do right now, is to let go of all these things that we thought we had to do because they're constructs of society, not even constructs of,
Right.
something that we believe in, and really look at it and lean into it and love that part of ourselves.
Yeah. And everybody in the chat that's talking about being on the juice, that it is a personal choice. And there are some side effects sometimes for some people, just like anything else. I mean, there's side effects about the wrong kind of food you eat. So there's pros and cons to everything, and it's a decision. But there's nothing wrong with it. If you need a little help to lose weight, there's absolutely nothing wrong for people getting help. We have it available now. And
Yeah. And I did try a lot of things, you guys. I tried, with my doctor and whatnot, and I crushed my ankle, and then my dad was dying, and then my stepmom was dying, and then my husband was dying, and my body was going through changes, and I held everything, and I held it all right here in there.
well, you probably use food also to comfort yourself during that time.
Yeah, because I was still feeding kids because
Yeah.
my kids were still young. So yeah. What's the juice? How do we get some? Annie says. You don't need it, girl. But so I'm just saying, be kind to yourself. I'm not saying that anybody else here has to do it.
Right.
Hypnicity says her sister did the juice and her hair started falling out. Yeah, it's not for everybody. And I think we need to find the right one if we want to do it. And it could be, that something comes up and it is the wrong thing. But right now it's a choice that I made, and I'm doing it with my doctor.
And that she shouldn't feel guilty or be shamed about it. None of us should
Yeah.
feel about our choices about self-indulgent or things that help us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, because
So,
you're feeling better, you're losing weight and you're feeling better. So there's the big pro to it.
yeah. And I'm doing it also with the um the brain work, or whatever you want to call it. I'm thinking that, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to walk. And I have changed everything about that.
Right.
So, but it does help with the appetite. And I did have quite a strong appetite. And I think, I thought, what's wrong with me that I crave these foods? And sometimes it's the additives that are in the food. Sometimes it's the gluten. It can be many different things, or we don't get enough protein. So it changed the way that I eat too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else, Terry, you want to say?
Well, y'all come back now here.
What's your next show that's following this?
I'm going to get on with Diana in a little bit, you guys. So Diana Oil Painter, we're going to do something, and then that's it. I think tomorrow I'm doing something with Kim, but it comes out on Sunday, Intuitive View.
Okay. And then we're doing Saturday, we're doing with Gail Lynn.
That's right. That's right. 11.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for being here today, and start thinking about taking care of yourself and not feeling guilty about it. That's the whole thing, is not feel guilty about the choices you make to take care of yourself.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
See
All
you
right,
later.
everybody.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Did you click it?